This video shows you how to replace your Pollen or your cabin filter. There are two methods of getting your cabin filter out. The first method implies the disassembly of the glove compartment box, and the other method implies accessing or changing the cabin filters via an access hole. So with the glove compartment box, I'll be taking off them 3 knots, in situ or from their original positions, and then subsequently taking off 2 other knots just underneath, the glove compartment box, in order to swap or replace the obsolete or old cabin filter. The other method or process involves accessing or replacing the filter through this access panel door. And here I've got the Crossland cabin filter. The filter type is activated carbon. The height is 30mm, the length is 307mm, and the width is 99mm. So just make sure that you're getting filters that are bespoke, to the opening in your cabin or car registration. I presume they've been acquired by Euro Car Parts, so I'm not really sure about the support for them filters, but they're quite decent filters, okay? And also, take cognizance of the direction of the airflow arrow. So install it, facing, the cabin or the car cockpit, just basically facing inwards into the car, okay? And, you've got other decent filters like your Bosch and your MAN filters that are equally good, okay? So it's pretty much up to you. They are just about the same price range, just that you may have to pay a few extra pennies for them Bosch and the MAN ones, okay? And so for the first method, I will be taking off them 2 knots, just underneath, the glove compartment box with the ratchet and the extension socket adapter, with the size 8 socket. So I will be getting, the smaller ratchet and the extension socket adapter and the size 8 socket to get off them knots, from the glove compartment box. Push on the ratchet lever, insert the extension, and then also push fit or press fit the size 8 socket. The black lever is set to the anti-clockwise orientation or the opening orientation. So when you begin to work the ratchet on the knot, the ratchet will begin to tighten the knot as the action of the ratchet goes against the orientation of the black lever that's been set. Suffice to say, the silent part of the ratchet is the actual action of the ratchet and not the rattling noise of the ratchet, okay? So to undo the knot, switch the lever to the clockwise orientation or closing orientation, and the silent part of the ratchet will counter the action of the black lever. Suffice to say, the silent part of the ratchet will undo the knot in the anti-clockwise orientation. So I will repeat the process for the remainder of the 2 knots underneath the glove compartment box. And now that you understand how the ratchet works, repeat and reproduce the process for all the knots underneath, the glove compartment box. So I pretty much get the other knots, underneath, the glove compartment box, and we're done. The next step would be to take out them knots at the top of the glove compartment box. So press that button and that will eject, the glove box, okay? Then take out the panel at the side of the glove compartment box, utilizing a Phillips head screwdriver. Just give it a twist and do it gently, okay? And just place the screws that you've taken out already into the panel so that you don't lose them, okay? And if you look underneath, the glove compartment box, you can definitely see the knots that we've taken out, yeah? So we're going to repeat the same process for them 3 knots that we've got, above or at the top of the glove compartment box. And these are the 3 knots here. If you're really keen on this process, I would advocate that, you get a two-man team to get, the glove compartment box off. And that's because you've got clips, at the top of this glove compartment box that are quite delicate. So when you're taking off the knots, you need someone to help you hold the glove compartment box. If the clip snaps, you can still reassemble, the components. But to save on time, quality and cost, just get an extra pair of hands to help you hold on to the glove box so that it doesn't snap, okay? If you decide to do it yourself, you need to be ambidextrous in undoing the knots, holding out or holding off, the glove compartment box, positioning and ensuring that, the clips haven't snapped and will not snap, okay? So from here onwards, I will be repeating and reproducing the process for the remainder of them 2 knots, okay? And that's the knot there from the first top position, okay? It's important that you salvage them knots. Ensure that you map them out or you keep them in a safe place so that you can retrieve them easily when you're trying to reassemble, the glove box, okay? So at this stage, I'm repeating and reproducing the process for the second knot position, and then replicating or repeating and reproducing the process for the third knot position. And with a couple of arm twists, you should be able to get the knots out. If you're struggling, to position, the socket in the knot, make sure, you put the knot first with the adapter before you get the ratchet on it. Okay, and that's all them 3 knots, off of the glove compartment box. So I've got in total 5 knots that have come off, okay? And despite taking off all the knots, the glove compartment box is still set in position. And you might wonder, why is it, not coming off? And that's because you've got 2 clips that are, securing the glove compartment box, to the dash, okay? Just get a touch in there and you should be able to see both them clips. I'm not sure if you can see it, but, there are definitely 2 clips in there, okay? And right before we take off the glove box, we've got 2 clips, that secures the glove compartment box into position, okay? The guide clips. So unclip them, before taking off the glove box, otherwise you'd break them. Unclip them or give it a little push, with a Phillips head screwdriver. And make sure that the weight of the glove compartment box, is not resting on them clips, otherwise they will snap, okay? And you can just about see them clips where the arrows are pointing in the video. It's quite fleeting, but you should be able to see them clips. Like I said, get an extra pair of hands if you need to, so that the full weight of the box doesn't solely rest on your hands, okay? You can undo the wiring in the harness, it's pretty much up to you so that it doesn't snap, but I find out that you can also work without taking off the harness or the electrical harness. The next step of the process would be to take out the access panel door that houses the cabin filter. The panel component has got a clip at the bottom, so take care that you do not snap it when unclipping. And as soon as I've taken it off, you can see the filter that we want to interchange in there. It's got this white and black stripe to it. It is located at an awkward angle, so this is the best view I could get for it. You might need to stretch, a little bit, lay flat to get, the cabin filter out. And so basically you've got 2 cabin or pollen filters that are sat on top of each other. So get the first one out. And then subsequently afterwards, if you stretch your hand a little bit further upwards, you should be able to get the other one that's, sat, on top of the first one, okay? That's lying beneath. And you can just about see trapped debris that the filter has trapped over time just coming off with it. Just work your hand through as soon as you come into contact with it. The idea is, you pull the second filter downwards and you pull it out, okay? And that's, the first part of the job, done. We've got the second filter out. So, the next step of the process would be to install the Crossland pollen filter, okay? And like I said, when you're fitting it in, the arrows should be pointing inwards, towards your car seat, okay? So basically, make sure that when you're inserting, the new pollen filters, make sure that the filter arrows, on top of the filter is facing, the cabin or your car seat, okay? And just slot that in. And then subsequently, with the aid or help of a flathead Phillips screwdriver, insert that, slot that in and raise, the first filter that was inserted. Make sure it's flush, when you push it, upwards. If it isn't, support the filter with your hands and then repeat the process. Slot the second carbon filter, just pretty much repeat and reproduce the process. And once you've maneuvered, or worked your way around, slotting in, the second cabin filter, replace or fix the filter's access panel cover, okay? Taking care not to break the clips that clips onto the access slots. You should hear a slight audible click once it's set in position, okay? The next step would be to assemble the glove compartment. Get an extra pair of hands to help with the reassembly, just to make sure that you do not damage them two clips here, okay, when reassembling, the glove compartment box. And so from here onwards, I will just reverse engineer the disassembly process. So I will slot the glove compartment box back in its original position in situ, and whilst also making sure that, the cable or wiring loom is connected back, okay? After torque tightening or screwing back on them two bolts underneath the glove compartment box, repeat and reproduce the process for the 3 off bolts at the top of the glove compartment box. So first, hand tighten or locate the socket using the socket alone, and then subsequently attach the ratchet to torque tighten down, okay? And once you've successfully tightened, the 2 bolts underneath the glove box and the 3 off bolts at the top of the glove box, you're pretty much done with the method 1. The advantage of using this process is that, you get more room and more access to remove your filter. On the flip side, it's more laborious. You might need 2 people, to set the glove compartment box in place and to take it off, okay? And so, in order to save on time, I will be showing you, the other method, which entails taking up this black component cover, which is located top right of the passenger seat area. Don't just pull on the holes of the black plastic component. Make sure you support it with your other finger when you're taking out the cover. Otherwise, you might break them black plastic clips. You can see that straight away we've saved ourselves time, with regards to taking off the glove compartment box. And if you look on your right here, you can see the cabin filter access cover. And also be careful when taking that off, as you do not want to snap, the plastic clip underneath the cover. Repeat and reproduce the process for filter installation as we did, when we took out the glove compartment box. So just install, both of them filters and, put the cover back on, but make sure that you take care that you do not snap, the clip at the bottom of the filter access cover. And then lastly, assemble, the black component cover. And, pretty much taking care that you do not damage, them 4 clips that clip the black plastic into its slot. The second method is a quicker process, but the downside is that the installation is done at an awkward angle. And so if you're not used to laying flat and stretching out to work certain jobs, then try to do some warm-up or stretches before you work the second process, just basically to avoid any back pains when you're done, because it's really, at an awkward angle. I wouldn't advocate that you reuse your old Pollen filter or wash them and try to use them, as this one has got activated charcoal in it, and it may not perform optimally. So just get a brand new one to save on time, quality and cost, okay? As a safe return is better than a risky one, okay? And out of curiosity, I just wanted to see, the debris that, the old Pollen filter had collected. Since Pollen filter traps any dirt, pollen and dust before it gets into the air conditioning network or duct work system. And as I begin to brush through each strata or layer that makes up the filter, you can see debris that's been accumulated, over a protracted period of time, just making its way into the bucket of water. So it makes a lot of sense to change the filters when they are due, as well as checking to make sure that they're performing optimally, okay? And that's about it really. If you found the information in this video useful, don't forget to subscribe, like and share. Helps the channel grow, okay? Thank you for your time, thanks for listening, and hopefully catch up with you later. Goodbye.